Hi, it's Lucia and welcome in my witch house. I would like to show you how I achieved this double-sided smoke effect, which you can see a lot in my journals. It's one of my favorite techniques because it can be used in so many different ways. You can achieve gorgeous images using only a few items. This tutorial works differently for different types of paper. You can use scraps or parts of boxes, but if you really want to achieve the double-sided effect, use standard office paper. You will also need the watercolors. I used my brilliant watercolors from Kohinoor, so we will need some water, a brush, tissues, a nice stencil of your choice, and the most important part of this process is paint, which is not dilutable with water. You can use any acrylic paint or special effect paste, even shoe polish works. Crystal clear acrylic paint will get colored and create amazing glaze effect. You can achieve similar effect with white glue, but it's much harder to work with because it's sticky and quickly gets mixed with water. Less transparent acrylic paint or structure paste won't get stained by watercolors and create even more visible pattern on front side. Back side of both looks pretty much the same. Let's get started, shall we? Using stencil, I am applying acrylic paint on the left half, and since we are on budget and because I just ran out of transparent acrylic paint, I will show you how white glue performs. Be careful while applying it, because if you push it too harsh, your paint will get under the stencil and might ruin your work. It happens to me all the time. Here you can see how the same paint looks completely dry. But let's move back and finish the other side first. Because my glue is more liquidy, I am pretty sure it will get under stencil as always, but with this type of pattern it doesn't really matter. I wouldn't recommend using glue for more detailed stencils, and I will show you why later. This is how white glue looks nicely dried. It's hard to see it even in person. I will let these dry completely as well, and while we wait, let's make more samples. To make it more confusing, I switched the order, so acrylic paint is on the right side, and I'm going to use glue on the left side. Another negative thing about glue is that if you don't apply quickly, it starts drying. So when you try to remove stencil, you may accidentally rip your paper which could stick to it. Most of the work is done now, so it's time for the fun part. First, make the wall piece wet. I use leftover coffee, but water is just fine. Grab your watercolors and start dabbing them all over your pattern. Don't be scared to add more water. It needs to be soaked so the colors easily spread through the paper. To stop them from spreading further, simply remove excess water with tissue, and when you are happy with your results, let the paper dry. You can see how troublesome it is to work with glue. It's very easy to rip your paper when it's wet and the glue is not helping at all. Quick cleaning, let's move on to the one made with pearlescent acrylic paint. You can paint only the part with your pattern, but you will achieve different effect, like this one. This is my favorite part. You can play with colors and water, and whatever you do, the result is always completely different from what you had in mind, but still gorgeous. You simply cannot go wrong with this technique. I'm trying to flip it carefully and show you how backside looks without completely destroying it. And this is how it should look, nicely soaked. It's a good idea to wipe it from this side too, so the colors won't spread much further. I couldn't done it with glue because it would stick to my table. So that's another plus of acrylic paint, I guess. You have much more time to play with it and it's easier to wipe it off from water. like to work quickly with my glue because if it's soaked for a long time it starts to form lumps and gradually separates from the paper. As you can see, I ruined some parts of the center as the glue got stick to my tissue. I don't really mind with this type of pattern since it adds some charm to it, but if it was more detailed stencil or if it was text for example, it might end up unreadable. I'm just repeating the same process so you can see it on different type of paper. The sun was setting and my camera went crazy. The most beautiful thing about this technique is that if you don't like the result, you can rework the image over and over again. Yes, it is just a sample, but as you can see I can't stop myself. This paper is a little bit thicker so there's no backside. Now let's see how our samples look completely dry. I feel so sorry for this one. This is why I don't recommend using glue for more detailed stencils because as you can see it completely ruined his head. But I can still use this side. Let's take a look at the acrylic paint. Ladies and gentlemen, this is how it should look like. Stencil perfect, shadow in the background nice. And look how gorgeous the backside looks. I always prefer backside over the front, so pretty. I hope that you enjoyed this tutorial and maybe you will try it for yourself. It's very fun, very easy and the result is always eye-catching, whether it's one-sided or double-sided. I use acrylic paint for these. As you can see, the result is similar to the ones done with white glue, but for me acrylic paint is more easier to work with, and the results are better too. If there is anything else that I did not mention, leave me a comment and I will try my best to answer all of your questions. Thank you very much for watching and have a great day. I will see you in the next one. Bye!